Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia. I'm pleased to have you here today. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. I appreciate you coming and watching my videos. I really appreciate you. And my returning subscribers, I appreciate you as well. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so today is another tutorial, drafting of a pattern. Okay guys, so let's get into this video. So today we are going to be drafting a basic skirt pattern. This is for a plus size. Okay, so yours might be smaller than this. Okay guys, so we're going to be drafting a basic skirt pattern, just a normal straight skirt with zip at the back. No big deal about it, just maybe a little slit at the back, and that's it. Okay guys, so that's what we're going to be drafting today, and I hope you do find this tutorial helpful. If you do, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share it so someone else can also learn from it. Okay guys, so let's get into the video. I'll tell you what you need first. Okay, so you need a measurement tape. Okay, you need your measurement. I've written mine down. You need your hip curve ruler. You can use a straight ruler, but if you have a hip curve ruler, will be good, because you're also going to be using this curve here for the waist. So it will be nice if you have a hip curve ruler. And you also need a straight ruler. It doesn't have to be wide like mine, but just a straight ruler. You need your markers or pen, and you need a paper scissors to cut paper. Okay guys, so let's get into the video. As I'm going along, I'll be telling you my measurements, so you might need a calculator as well to divide your measurement. Okay guys, as you can see, I'll tell you the measurement that we need first before we start. So you need your waist measurement, you need your hip measurement, you need your waist to hip line measurement. Most people is 9, some people is 7, some people is 8, but I think majority is 9. Okay, you need the length of your skirt. Okay, and then of course your pattern paper needs to be more wider than your hip, folded into 2. So if your hip is 30 and you divide 30 into 2, that will be 15. So you need more than 15. So let's say 15 and then plus maybe 5 more inches for your pattern paper. So here I'll show you my pattern paper. I have my phone for calculator. Okay, so I have 2 pattern paper here. This is the back one, and I have this one for the front. Okay, so for the back one, as you can see, I folded here 2 inches. This fold is for the zip. This is just the zip allowance, 2 inches. As you can see, I hope you can see it clearly. 2 inches. So I folded it. Okay, because this is the back. When you finish, you cut here opened. You cut it opened. Okay, and this here is the front. So everything you need to cut on the fold. Okay, so everything has to be on the fold. In that way, you cut it correctly. The front always have to be on the fold. As you can see, I folded the paper. See, I folded it into 2. Okay, so this is the front, this is the back one, and this is your zip allowance. Okay, so I'll just write zip here. So that's for your zip allowance. This is the back pattern, and this here is the front pattern. This is plus size, okay, because I'm a plus size, so my pattern is plus size. Yours might not be plus size, you might not have the same size as me, so you just make it to your size, but just follow the same tactics, okay, but your size. So take your measurement. Okay, so what we are going to do first is we are going to place both papers together. I think this is a straightforward way of cutting a simple straight skirt. Okay, Of course, you can cut them separate. You can cut the back first or cut the front first. But just to save you time, assume if you have a lot of things to sew, a lot of skirt to sew, to save you time, you can cut the back and front at the same time, which I do a lot. So just put the two of them together. Remember to fold out your 2 inches zip allowance, okay? So just put the two of them together as I have done here. And then the first thing we are going to do, from the top to wherever your length of your skirt is, so you measure from the top to your skirt length. And my skirt length is 34, so I'm going to measure 34. This skirt does not have a waistband. I'll do a waistband in another tutorial. I'll show you how I draft my waistband in another video. So this is just the basic skirt. Of course, you can sew this skirt with a lining without putting a waistband. Okay, you just put your lining when you cut the fabric, then you cut a lining, okay, and then you use the lining to turn the waist in, and you put your zip, you put a dot and there without putting a band. But in another video I'll show you how I cut my band. Okay, so you take your length of your skirt first. The length of my skirt is 34, so I mark it here, 34. So mark the length of your skirt down first. Make sure that your pattern paper is longer, at least by 2 inches. At least it's longer by 2 inches than the length of your skirt, because you need the length to do the hemming of the skirt. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now, we are going to take our hip line, your waist to your hip line, your waist to your hip line measurement. So you start from the top here and you measure your waist to your hip line. Mine is 9, so you mark 9. Okay, I'm going to be using both red and blue pen, so you mark 9. Okay, and then you take your ruler and just draw a straight line. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Just take your straight ruler and just draw a straight line. Okay, just draw a straight line like that. So this is your hip line. Okay, you can just write it there so you will know. So from here, from this hip line, we are going to put our hip measurement on this hip line. Okay, and then here we are going to be putting our waist measurement. So what we are going to do first is to take our waist measurement. So my waist is 48 divided by 4. You need to divide your waist measurement by 4. Reason why you divide it by 4 is because the fabric is folded. The fabric is folded into 2. So that's half, like half of your front, like now the back. See, the back is folded into 2. The front is folded into 2. That's 4. Okay. So you divide it, 48 divided by 4. That's 12. Don't use my measurement. Make sure you use yours. If you use my measurement and you are not my size, it's going to be too big. Okay. So that's 12. So we're going to mark 12 using the blue pen. We're going to mark 12. Okay. There's 12 there. So mark 12 here. I'm just going to just draw it up a bit so I'll know that it's 12 there. Okay, so that's 12. So now we are going to be putting our hip measurement. We are going to be putting our hip measurements, okay? I don't want the paper to be moving, so I'm going to stop your paper from shifting. You can use a pin just to hold your pattern paper together to stop it from moving so that you don't cut it wrongly. If you have a clip, you can use a clip to hold it. Okay, that will stop it from moving about. Okay, so now we are going to be taking our hip measurement. So take your hip measurement and divide it by 4. Okay, mine is 55 divided by 4. That's 13.75. That's almost like 14 inches. So I'm going to be marking it down. So that's here. Okay. Okay. So another measurement I forgot to tell you about is your waist to your knee. Okay. So your waist to your knee, my own waist to my knee is 19. Some people it's less than 19. Most people I know is 19. So that is just for a guideline, okay? Just for you to know where your knee is. So you measure from your waist to your knee. But for me, I like to come down by 1 inch. So I'll mark mine as 20 because I like to come down by 1 inch. So that's just my waist to knee. So you can mark yours down if you want, just for a guideline, so you know where your knee is. Okay guys, so you mark your waist to your knee. Mine is 19, but I like to make it 20. I'll just show you guys again. So from waist to your knee, mine is 20. Please measure yours, okay? Don't use mine because yours might be shorter, might be longer. Okay guys, so don't use mine. Measure your, though majority people I know is between 18 and 19. Mine is 90, but I like to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so you just mark it there. I'm just going to draw a line there. It's just a guideline, okay guys, just a guideline, just so you know where your knee is. Okay, I hope you guys can see what I'm doing clearly. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share it, and turn on your notification bell for more videos like this. Okay guys, so that somebody else will learn. Share it as well for other people to learn. And thanks for your support guys, I appreciate it. Okay guys, I'm just pinning the papers together so they don't move about. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to take our hip measurement. So your hip divided by 4. I've already marked mine down already. Yeah, we've done that already. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do right now is on the waist here, we are going to come down by 1 inch. I always like to do this because it makes the waistline flattering on your stomach. So I like doing this. So what I do is I come down by 1 inch. My measurement tape is very long. Okay, so on the waistline, this is the back and front. Don't forget, back and front we are cutting together. Okay, so on the waistline here, I like to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so I come down by 1 inch. So I'll mark the 1 inches I mark the 1 inches. You can do half an inch. You can do half an inch. I think half an inch is okay as well. But for me, I like doing 1 inch. Okay. So this 1 inch, I'm going to be connecting this 1 inch here. Let me move this so you can see. I'm going to be connecting this 1 inch here to my waist measurement here. So it's like, it's going to go that way. It's not going to come all the way down here. That's why I said it would be nice if you have a hip curve ruler, because the hip curve ruler, you are going to be using this point here for the waistline. Okay, so you just come down by 1 inches just on this point, on the folded point. So remember, everything has to be cut on the fold. You have to fold the fabric. Okay, so from here you come down 1 inches. You are going to connect it to the top of your waist measurement on top there. So for me, what I do is I take my ruler, my hip curve ruler is also a waist curve. This ruler is also, you can use this ruler also for a waist band. Okay, so I just take it. I'll show you guys how I do it. But if you don't have a ruler, you can freehand it. So I take the ruler. I hope you guys can see my table is not very big. So I take the ruler from the 1 inches here, I line it up. This is the 1 inch here. So you can see the curve is already there. Can you see the curve? As I say, you can do half an inches, but I like 1 inch on this side. Okay, so just make the waist line to be flattened. Okay guys. Okay guys, so I put the ruler this way. You can see this is the 1 inches here, and this is my waist line here, and then I'm going to be marking it. Okay guys, so I just take my ruler and my pen, and then I connect the lines together. Okay guys, so that's it. So this is a, I hope you guys can see it properly. From here to here is 1 inch. So I just take my hip curve ruler and connect it to my waist measurement over there. Remember, I haven't added any seam allowance yet. Okay guys, so you can freehand it if you don't have the ruler. Just connect the 1 inch to the top of your waistline there. Okay guys, hope you can see it properly. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to connect all the points. We are going to connect them down to where your skirt length is. Okay guys, so what I do sometimes, if I want the skirt to be really fitting nicely on the knee, if I want it to be really nice straight fitting on the knee, I'm going to draw a straight line and just give you a tip what I do, so the skirt doesn't look too bulky on the knee area. So let me just draw a straight line as a guideline. Please don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to comment. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Please guys, just for encouragement, give it a like, a big like, comment and share the video and subscribe. Okay guys, so what I do is that I'm going to mark my hip measurement on my knee. First of all, I mark my hip measurement on my knee, which is 13.75. That's nearly 14. It's almost 14 inches. Let's just cross check it before we mark it on the knee. Yeah, so I'm going to transfer it to the knee. So I mark it on the knee area first. Let me use the blue pen. Okay, so that's my hip measurements. So what I do from there is I come in by, if you don't want the skirt to be too tight on your knee, don't come in by 2 inches. If you want it to be nice fitting on your knee, I normally come in by 2 inches. Don't forget, I'm still going to be adding seam allowance. So instead of coming in by 2 inches, I'm just going to come in by 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to come in by 1 inch because I'm still going to be adding seam allowance to it. But you can come in by 2 inches if you really want this skirt to be fitting on your knee. Okay guys, so I'm just going to mark it here. Okay, so that's going to be our hip, our knee. Okay, so what you do now is that you're going to take your hip curve ruler and we are going to connect all the lines together. Okay, can you see why the hip curve ruler is very good? You can already see the curve is going to give you already. Okay, so but if you don't have it, you can just freehand it. Okay, you can just freehand it, but if you have it, you can use it. Okay, so actually I was thinking that was the waist. Okay, that's not the waist, but anyway, let's move up to the waist. The waist is all the way up here. That's my hip there. So yeah, so this side should be here first. First of all, you connect the hip and the waistline. Yeah, you connect those two together first. Then you connect your, when you connect these two together first, then you can now connect your knee. Okay, depends on how you want the knee to be. If you want it to be tighter, if you want your knee to be tighter, then you come in a bit more. If you don't want your knee to be tighter, don't bother coming in more. Just leave it as the same as your hip. Okay, but I like my skirt to be a bit fitting on the knee, because when I put the zip, what I'm going to do is on this side, on the bottom here, I'm going to open a bit of a slit here to enable me to move freely. Okay, so that's the connection. So we've connected the waist to the hip to the knee. Okay, so what we are going to do next is we are going to take the knee. This is the knee. I just put knee so that we know. I don't know if I spelled that right, but knee. Okay, so I'm going to take the measurement of my knee here. So whatever measurement of your knee is, you transfer it to the bottom here. Okay, transfer it to the bottom here.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
Okay guys, so whatever you have on your knee here, whatever measurement you have on your knee here, you can transfer it to the length of your skirt. Okay, transfer it to the bottom, which is the bottom part of your skirt. Let me move the pattern so you can see properly. Okay, so I'm going to be marking it here. So another tip, if you don't want the bottom of your skirt to be too fitting, as I say, then don't make the knee too fitting. Do the measurement the same as your hip measurement. Okay, so I'm going to be marking it here. And then I'm going to be taking my straight ruler and I will just connect them together. It's a straight line. Okay, hope you guys can see. Yeah, so I'm going to connect it all the way straight down. Okay guys, so that's it. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. So The next thing you are going to do now is your dart. Okay, the dart is going to be somewhere here. Okay, the dart is going to be somewhere here, but I'm going to show you I'm going to show you a quick way that I do my dart. Okay, what I do with my dart, I use my bust, how did I say it again? My bust spam. Was it spam? The length from one nipple to the other nipple is what I use for my dart, and it works perfectly well because it's almost the same as when you are putting a bust dart. So the dart on the skirt kind of matches the dart on your blouse. Okay, so that's what I like doing. So that's there may be a different, there are probably other method, but I prefer to use the dart, the length I use for my bust, I use it for my skirt as well. You could try it, or you could do a different method if you know that already. So my bust palm, or from one nipple to the other, the length is, my length is 10. Okay, don't forget this is a plus size pattern, so my measurement is more than average. Okay, so what I do is that because it's 10, I divide it into 2, that is 5. Okay, so what I do is I mark 5. I mark 5 here. As I say, there are other methods of doing that. This is just a quick way that I use. Okay, guys, just a quick way that I use, and I like it. It works for me. Okay, so this is a quick way of doing it, and I like it this way. Okay, guys, so my dart is going to start there. Okay, so what I'll do now is I just come in 1/2 inches. So 1/2 inch, just mark 1/2 inches. Just mark 1/2 inches from this line here. A small ruler will be better if you have a small ruler, but my small ruler is not here. But let me come closer to the camera. I hope you guys can see it. So from this line, this 5 here, just come in 1/2 inches here, and 1/2 inches again here. Okay. Okay, guys, so you come out from this line, just as I've showed you, just repeating myself. From this line, put your measurement tape there, mark 1/2 inch. The same on the other side. From this line, mark 1/2 inch. And the dart length is normally 4. Okay, it's normally 4, but you can make yours longer if you want. Okay, but 4, I think 4 is quite okay as well, but you can make it longer if you want. I'm just going to draw a straight line to meet that. Okay, and then I'm also going to take my ruler, because I'm going to connect this point here to this point here. Okay, so connect it. You can use a smaller ruler if you have a small ruler, but I'm using my long ruler here. So you just connect it like this. Okay, guys, so that's your dart. That's your dart. Okay, so when you sew it, you're going to be holding this place together. When you sew it together. Okay, sew it together on the wrong side when you cut your fabric out. So what you do is that if you have a tracing wheel, you just use the tracing wheel. I have a tracing wheel, but I don't have it here. Okay, I'll show you in another video. So you trace it. When you trace it, it will appear on this side. It will also appear on the front, so you don't have to draw it again. But just in case you don't have it, you can just flip the back, you can flip it over, and then you can just repeat what you've done already. Okay, but then it means you are going to mark your waist line again. So you're going to mark your waistline again. If you are just assuming you don't have a way to trace the dot, so just mark your waistline again. I think it was here. I can see the blue thing there. Just mark it again. Take your hip curve ruler. Take your hip curve ruler and just connect them together. Just connect them correctly. Okay. Okay, so once you've done that, you can now measure your 5 inches. And then you can now come in by 1/2 inches, and then another 1/2 inches. Okay, and then you can now mark, although I can see the dot line here already on my tracing paper. I can already see it already. I can see the line. It actually appears already, so I can already see it. That's the 4 inches. I can already see it, so I'm just going to draw it out. Because it actually shows up on the front. So I'm just going to draw it out. Don't forget you haven't put seam allowance on this pattern yet. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you've watched to this point. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share it, guys. Thank you. Okay, guys, so that's it. And then you also do it on the other side. It's already showing here, so I don't need to do that. And it's showing here already as well, so I don't need to do that. Okay, guys, so that's the pattern completed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to add seam allowance. So you just add your seam allowance and your pattern is ready. Okay, guys, if you don't understand anything, please leave me a question on the comment section, and I will try and answer your question. I will make a video about your question. Okay, guys, if I cannot answer it properly, I'll make a video about it. Okay, so what we are going to do now is add seam allowance. You cannot add seam allowance on the folded line. You can only add seam allowance on the side. Remember, it's a skirt, so you can only add seam allowance on the side. Okay, so it's up to you to add as much seam allowance as you want. Okay, guys, but for me, I'm going to do as much seam allowance as you want, but I'm not going to be adding a lot. I'm just going to be adding, you know, like here, like the dots. Let me measure the dots for you. The dot should be like 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to be adding the 1 inch to the waistline here, so that when I stitch it, it's not going to be too tight on my waist. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be adding that 1 inch first to the waistline here, and then I'm going to be adding like 1.5, let's say between 1.5 2 inches. Let me see, let's see. Okay, I'm going to add 1.5 inch. I think that should be okay because my pattern paper is nearly gone. So I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch. When I'm cutting the fabric, I can add 1/2 inches to it. Okay, so but in true honesty, you are supposed to add only 1/2 inches, only 1/2 inches. But because sometimes you gain weight, sometimes you lose weight, so that's why I like to add a bit more allowance. In case something happen, I can just open the skirt out to fit more, or I can tighten the skirt more and trim out the excess allowance. Okay guys, so I'm going to be adding, so from the top here, the total allowance here is 2, so this is 1.5 plus 1, 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to be adding 2.5 inches all the way down. Okay guys, but when I come to the knee might be a little less, but let's see. So let me add 2.5 inches and see how it goes. If it's too much, you can always trim it off. If the allowance is too much, trim it off. Okay, if the allowance is too much, just trim it off. Okay guys, trim it off, but leave at least some allowance there in case the person had some weight and they need to let it out, or just in case the person wants the skirt to be more free, at least you know you have an allowance to let it out. Okay, so I'm just marking 2.5 for now. As I say, it's quite a lot of allowance, but you can reduce it. Just as I say, you can reduce it. Okay, okay guys, so as I say, for the allowance on the normal standard, you're supposed to add just 1/2 inches allowance to the pattern, but because I'm a plus size, I like to add enough allowance. But on your own pattern, you can add just 1 inch, or you can add 1.5, or you can add just 1/2 inch. But just remember to add the dart, the one you take out of the dart, because you're going to sew the dart in. That is going to reduce your waist measurement. So if you add it to here, at least you know that when you take it in, your waist is going to fit. Okay guys, so you can reduce your allowance. I'll repeat myself again. You can reduce, I'm repeating myself again, sorry guys. You can reduce your seam allowance, because mine is quite a lot at the moment. I can decide to just reduce it to just 2 inches and take the extra 1/2 inches away. Okay, so yeah, so this is it. And remember, I told you for the bottom you need 2 inches for the hem, which I already have here. I have 2 inches here. Okay guys, so you need 2 inches. Let me just mark it out so that I can use the ruler to draw a straight line, so you will know. Sorry for the noise guys. So you will know where the seam is. Okay, you know where the hemline is. Okay, so I'm just going to draw it out with my ruler. Okay guys, sorry for the noise guys. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it please. Okay guys, so this is the hem. It's 2 inches. You can fold it if you want, so you will know that is the hem. You can fold it, so when you're cutting, you know that is the hem. These are all the tips I use. I'm showing you, I'm sharing them with you, so it can be easy for you to make your skirt. Okay, so yeah guys, so this is the end of the pattern drafting for the skirt, the basic pattern plus size skirt. So I'm just going to cut it out. I've got my scissors here. So I cut the waist. I will make a waistband video in the next video. Hopefully I'll show you how I draft my waistband. But as I say, on this skirt you can you can sew this skirt without a waistband. Can you see it's looking nice already, even though I haven't even cut it all out? But you can sew this skirt, okay guys, you can sew this skirt without even a waistband. Just add lining to it, use the lining to turn the waist, and it will be nice. Okay, I'm supposed to have connected all these lines, but I'm not going to bother. I'll just cut it out. But it's good for you to connect the lines, okay? Connect the lines so it's easy for you to cut it out. Once you know what you are doing already, it becomes easy. But it's good to connect the lines. Let me just quickly connect the lines so you can see. It's good to connect the lines. Try not to make the video to be too long. Okay, so I'm just connecting the lines so it's easy to cut it out, so you don't make a mistake. So connect the lines, please. Okay. Okay guys, so connect the lines and then you can cut your pattern out. Okay guys, so this is my skirt pattern. It's back and front. That's my skirt pattern. This is the hemline here. This is the hemline. Okay guys. Okay guys, so this is my pattern here. Okay. So this is my skirt pattern. Let me take the pin out so we can see it properly. Okay, so that's the back. That's the back I used to draft it. That's the back. As I say, you can reduce the length, the allowance, which I'm even thinking of reducing. I'm thinking of reducing the knee allowance. I'm thinking of coming in a bit. Let's say from this angle I can come in like this. If you come in like that, this is just a tip I'm showing you. If you come in like that, that will reduce your knee to make the skirt more fitting on your knee. Okay, you can come in like that and go down and draw a straight line down. So I'm thinking of reducing it that much. Okay, so that will make your knee, the allowance, the seam allowance on your knee to be less. But don't forget, when you want to sew it, you are sewing it here, so you still have a bit of seam allowance. When you finish sewing it, you can trim it to remaining just half an inch. Okay, but in case your knee is too tight, that's why you need this allowance. You can ease it out for the allowance. Okay, that's just a sewing tips. Okay guys, so this is my pattern finished. That's the front. That's the front one. It's on the fold. I'll open it. Can you see the fold line there? Yeah. So it's on the fold. When you want to cut the fabric, you just place it on the fabric like this. Just place it on top of the fabric and cut it out. There is already a seam allowance already, so I'm just going to write with seam allowance on it. Okay. And this is your hemline. This is your hem line. It's 2 inches. Okay, so that's your hemline. So that's the front. and that is the back, and this is your zip allowance here, which you need to cut open. You need to cut it open, and then when you cut it open and the fabric, you flip one side to the other side, you flip the other side to this side, iron it, then you sew your zip on it. I'm going to be doing a tutorial for a simple straight skirt, and I'll show you guys. Okay, all right guys, so this is the end of the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share it anywhere, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere, share it, Instagram, share it. Okay guys, and I'll catch you guys in my next video or in my next tutorial. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care. Love you all. Bye.